Welcome back. This is Mr. Research Man. Sealey defends scientist Godfrey. Scientist Godfrey, also known as the comedian Godfrey. You know, we're gonna have to do a interview with Godfrey. We need to reach out to Godfrey and do a one-on-one interview. I know he's coming out to San Jose in August, but we want to try to catch him before that. So here's the thing. Here's my defense of Godfrey. Godfrey made one good point. You say one little thing, we Americans start piling on. Okay, especially the ladies. And I won't even say the ladies. Let me take that back. Because the I gotta reply dudes, they do it too. You know, the dudes who are very auntie-like, they do it too. But here's the thing. He didn't say too much wrong, because in context, he said this is what his experience was with his family at the time. He didn't say now. And what we're doing is we're trying to take that out of context and making it to something else. Now, here's where Godfrey messes up. On the video crashing out, the lady says one thing. She said, we was concerned about you, and he just started going left. That means that you're doing too much heavy lifting for FBA. Alright? And anytime Americans are brought up, we should have a show letting the most well-read Americans defend the position, not you as Godfrey. Let me say it one more time. Godfrey has been doing so much heavy lifting in his group. He's now responding to things defensively. I think when Akbar brings up Americans, when David Aiello brings up Americans, I think there needs to be an American next week. A well-read American, not an emotional American, not a comedian American. No. You need to have a high, well-read American to kind of squash it out. Because here's the real problem with unity with Africa. Africa has a problem understanding that you can do a lot of crimes in Africa, a lot of crimes in France, credit issues, human trafficking, child soldier. You can do a lot of stuff. Once you get here, you're brand new. Yet you're talking like Akbar as if you have no understanding that you're not being checked at the level that other Americans are being checked. This is why what happened with the superintendent in Iowa, where he was pretending. He was one of those people who were doing well. He was a superintendent. But in reality, he had fake degrees. He had all these issues. He had all these crimes. And America was only looking at him from what have you done in America. They wasn't looking at his whole international sheet. So a lot of times when people come here, they got a lot of crime. They would not be hired if people were looking at their international sheet. They're just looking at their American crime sheet, not their international crime sheet. If you pay the extra money and you go look at their international sheet, there are a lot of issues. A lot of people wouldn't get the jobs that they got. And see, somebody needs to come on that show when you're mentioning Americans and say that. Say that in a strategic way, not in a you tethers. No. You gotta say it in a strategic way. And in defense of Godfrey, it's not fair for people to constantly bring up Americans, and Godfrey's in a position that had to re-educate people who are constantly bringing up Americans. For example, Akbar had this issue in Oakland where he was playing for the team in Oakland, but he was driving around Lake Merritt in a mentality, according to Akbar, in a mentality of I'm mad at something the Raiders did, and I'm out here mean mugging. I'm out here with that mean mug mentality. Now, it might not have been on his face, but you out here with that mean mug mentality, and you rolling in your nice car, and according to Akbar, you making facial contact with people, you know, while driving in your car, and then you pull over in the dark at the lake by yourself. No, somebody gonna get you. Even I would have got if I had did all that. That's the mentality that an American sitting across from Akbar needs to confront Akbar on. Because you even see Akbar say, I didn't realize. You grew up in LA and you didn't realize all these things. That's a problem. Or when Akbar says, my father, he felt this way and that way about welfare, he didn't need it. We're not interviewing your father. We would love to interview your father if that's the case. But then if I ask your father if he took cash benefits at one point in time, or if I ask your father whether he got some housing assistance, or if I ask your father, or better yet, your mother, has she ever went to a bread store, then you got to accept that maybe you didn't know everything your father and mother did. The problem that keeps coming up is people are saying stuff about Americans, and they're saying it as if you haven't got no benefits, or you haven't or you've walked the same identical path as a person who's birthed here. Let me say it for a fourth time. Just on human resources alone, and this is why so many people get caught months later, there have been several immigrants, Ukrainians, let me take it off of Africans, Ukrainians, Syrians, JW people, Zion, all type of people who have gotten busted saying that they had something and they didn't have something, or later on HR found out they had a crime, but by then they've been working 4 or 5 years. Okay, I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's really how it goes. And you need somebody on these shows to explain that, because Godfrey should not be doing all the heavy lifting. Godfrey should sometime take a step back and say, you know what, I want to explain it, but we need to get a very well-read, not well-spoken, a very well-read FBA on the show to explain it. You can call Sile, you can call any of the other dudes. You can look. Just get somebody that can explain it to you without the whole tether thing, because the way diaspora war starts is somebody speaking on behalf of another person. Somebody's speaking on behalf of another person. And now Godfrey has gotten to the point where he's done so much heavy lifting. He's getting misquoted. He's getting stuff remixed out of context. And I think scientist Godfrey, is a great asset for FBA. And I don't want to spoil that. So we need to get Godfrey out of that area in a polite way, and let's have an interview with FBA on trying to get an understanding on how you don't have to do that heavy lifting as Godfrey. You simply need to say the magic word. Yeah, you're saying that, but you got to understand, you know what? We need to get some of the FBA on the show. That would be the better way to do it, because you can't keep bringing up people and then they're not representing themselves, and then you as Godfrey, you doing all this heavy lifting, and then when I saw Godfrey crash out or spaz out, like I like to say, when that lady was saying what she said, she didn't even accuse him of nothing. She just said we was concerned when it appeared that you was, and then he just started going and left. That's when I know that you're doing too much heavy lifting, and you're reading the comment section too much. Reading the comments, eat a dick. Man, calm down, bro. You're reading the comment section way too much. Let's stay focused. And have a real legit conversation. And even the other guy, who was Patrice's friend, I forgot what his name is. He was trying to keep Godfrey calm because, hey, bro, calm out. I mean, calm down. Time out. Calm down, bro. Time out. You don't have to go that route. You've been doing too much heavy lifting. And if I'm on the show, if I get invited on, I'm gonna try to bring the FBA men with me, so that way it's a group effort. It's not just one person. Because again, I think this stuff gets lost when just one person. A lot of times when you're a guest getting invited on these shows, it's you versus 2, 3, or 4 voices. Nah. That's why I'm putting together an FBA team. If you would like to be on the FBA team, contact Mr. Research at researchyouropinions.com. So when we get invited on these shows, we're going as a collective effort of well-read, well-versed men. Where it's not going to go left, it's not going to go emotional. There'll be a little laughing and entertainment, but not to the point where we're going to get derailed off strategically what needs to be said on a broadcast, on a podcast, in front of a journalist. We're not going to let you spin, cut us off, redirect. No, we're going to say, hey, I answered that question in a minute, but let me finish this point. It got to be strategic. And see, Akbar sometimes comes across a little like a black Arab. And what I mean by that is that sometimes the concerns are so money, that it ain't BLK. I often say this as an example. Nation of Islam, FOI, Fruit of Islam. These are spiritualities that are very black focused, right? We're not going to interact with a black person who has an Arab first mindset, a money first mindset, a survival first mindset. Those people are harder to deal with. Okay, now I'm an international dude. I've lived across seas. I understand what surviving is. But when I used to live in places between the ages of 20 and 24, I wasn't speaking on what I saw people do. I've seen people do way out stuff. Okay, way out stuff. Okay, that's their culture. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm gonna keep walking. I'm here focused on the contract that I'm working and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But there's a virus, there's a mouth virus that a lot of immigrants have. The need to lecture, the need to talk about people because you're making money. It's this Arab arrogance that comes out of your mouth, and it's like, bro, nobody really asked you about that. Nobody was talking about that. Why are you bringing that up? So I'm going to conclude it by saying this. My defense of scientist Godfrey is that scientist Godfrey, it is better for us strategically to not upset the balance. This is a misunderstanding of people misunderstanding the context in which Godfrey is telling his story on how he came to his awareness. Okay, telling somebody, oh yeah, you're right, they don't know where they come from. That's the story of how he came to an understanding about the conversation they were having at the time. That is not to say that he still continues to think that way today. And even if he does, this is a great opportunity for the FBA, who understand everything that came before Columbus, who understand that Alfonso Nino was the navigator and he had sailed these seas before, Columbus even knew about it as a Moor, as a Nino, as a Moor. It's good to educate people about the Ohlone, who have dark-skinned human beings or darker brown human beings, according to UC Berkeley, who have been here 10,000 years. It's good to educate people to say, hey, everybody wasn't just copper skinned. Some of the Choctaw were darker, some of the Blackfoot were darker, some of the Crow were darker, and so on and so forth. And people got lumped into black when the census came around. We got to have high-level conversations in a strategic way, not sensationalized and not emotional. It has to be a thing of, hey, if you're going to say that, were you aware of this? And if you're not aware of this, then why are you even saying it without an American person here to help you understand it? See, diaspora war starts when one person starts wagging the finger. But when we reply back to you as an American, reply back, you consider that as an attack. So I defend Scientist Godfrey, but hey, Scientist Godfrey needs to allow us to do a one-on-one interview with him. I don't know what type of money you're looking for, but you need to holler at us and have a real one-on-one conversation with a real well-read FBA. You know, nobody's going to just make the situation worse. Let's try to repair some of this stuff that's going on out here. Much love. This is Mr. Research. If you want to donate to the pod, donate to the channel, you know you can do the best thing, which is share this on your Twitter, share this on your Facebook. If you don't have no money, no break bread with a bro, cool. Share it on your Instagram. Clip it, share it on your Instagram. Let's see what other people think about this strategic conversation. Also, if you do want to donate, you can donate to the King of Classy. You know what it is. Much love. We're going to catch you on the next video. I want to see some comments down in the comments section. Where did I get it wrong? Where did I get it right? Much love. We'll be talking to you soon.